during the Middle Kingdom. He built this now meter that you see right here, and that's his name in the Middle Nature. You saw his name the first time when we were in the Cairo Museum. Remember the black capstone? That was his black capstone that was put on top of his pyramid when he built his pyramid in Hawara. Again, Amenhotep III built this now meter here to determine how high and how low the Nile is. If it was a time of high inundation, then it was a time for high taxes. If it was a low inundation, then it was low taxes. That determined how high and how low the Nile is. There's a story going back to the Old Kingdom of Zoser Meneket, and Imhotep came to Imhotep, Zoser came to Imhotep and said, why is it that we've had 7 years of famine in Kemet? And Khnum said, because he is not, Zoser did not pay homage to Khnum. Khnum was the debtor of this land right here in China, you see now called Nubia today. And he said, you did not pay homage to Khnum. So Khnum also represented the flooding and also the inundation of the Nile, of Happy, that our ancestors called. And so Zoser said, okay, we have to pay homage to Khnum and honor Khnum, and also honor the triad. That means the wife of Khnum was the 10th, and the daughter, as we said in this area, was not a male but a female in the triad, and that is Anubis. So he paid homage to Khnum, and the Nile started to rise again. When we get the story, the Hebrew version of the famine that took place in Kemet, that had nothing to do with any blood for the Nile that our ancestors called Happy turned red with blood. The inundation period, when the Nile carries that topsoil from the interior of Africa, the Nile turns red every year during the time of the inundation. Here the early Hebrews took that story, the scribes, and said that Egypt was cursed and the land was cursed red, and the Nile Happy was cursed red with blood. So we see one account after the other where these ideas that we see in the biblical accounts were corrupted from the spiritual stories of the Netaruls of ancient Kemet. Another a point that I want to point out about Happy, as I said, that in the Papyrus of Hunefer, Dr. Ben's favorite quote, that in the Papyrus of Hunefer it says, we came from the beginning of the Nile, Happy, okay, where we see the beginning of the Nile, where God Happy dwelt at the foothill of the mountain of the moon. That mountain of the moon is what? Kilimanjaro and Rwenzori. So they clearly understood their beginning, the same beginning where we see early Africans who started right there in the Great Lakes region. When Herodotus came here in around 450 BC, and he asked the Kari-Head priest, where does the Nile start? And they told him it started in the beginning of the Nile, Happy, that they referred to it as the foothill of the mountain of the moon, snow-capped mountain. Herodotus couldn't believe that as hot as Egypt is, as hot as Africa is, that there's a mountain, a snow-capped mountain that starts at the beginning of the Nile. So by the priest telling Herodotus about this snow-capped mountain called the mountain of the moon, because the snow-capped mountain looks like a moon. He couldn't believe that there was a place in Africa where there was snow and a snow-capped mountain. So that's another indication that our ancestors knew the beginning of Happy. So our ancestors referred to as the Colombian to that 4,000 across 600 miles of Happy going that referred to as the Colombian to. And not only did it give birth to humanity, it gave birth to spiritual ideas that we see. I point this out is because all we have to do is go back to the early papyruses to see what our ancestors were telling us, and they clearly understood where their origin is. As many who are talking about and getting caught up in these history channels and getting caught up in this extraterrestrial thing and all this kind of thing, all they have to do is go back to the papyruses like our ancestors, like the Papyrus of Hunefer that we came from the beginning of the Nile where God Happy dwelt at the foothill of the mountain of the moon. That means Kilimanjaro and Victoria fit in both of those places. So they understood that spiritual place was the Taneter land, was the Holy Land where it all began. But here's this rock right here with Amenhotep's name on it going back over 4,000 years. Where can you go in America and find a historical spot going back over 4,000 years? When some of you asked about the lighted area last night, that is the tombs of the nobles. That's during the time of the Middle Kingdom over 4,000 years ago, where Harkut made his expedition to bring back one of the 12, where he was commissioned by Pepe II, that great Nesu or king, who told him to make his journey back to the beginning of the Nile and bring back a 12 and make sure that no harm will come to him. Harkut left that letter carved on his tomb because he was delighted that Pepe II honored him by taking that expedition back to Inner Africa. So they understood the spiritual beginning. They understood where their beginning was at, and that beginning was in the Kuri land. So we wanted to stop here so we recognize this great historical spot right here. Thousands of people may go by here, and this is not even mentioned at all about the Menehet III right here of his name where he built this Nile News, as well as Zojanetiket, who equally also built a Nile News. So we see history all up and down the Colombian tube of Happy, as our ancestors referred to it as. So again, I wanted to stop here. We're going to make another stop because here this is called Yeba. Okay, Yeba. That the Greeks call Elephantine. Why they call it Elephantine? If some of you can look across the river, and you'll see, can you see that rock formation over there? Yep. It's over this way. So a rock formation that looks like a herd of elephants. It looks like a herd of elephants. Okay, not this way, you're looking this way. Over there. Can you see it, Jaharka?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jaharka can point it out to you up there. That's why they call it Yeba. Because the word in Kinzi, which is the Nubian language spoken here, elephant is Yeba. So from Yeba, the Greeks took that and made elephantine, where the elephants, a herd of elephants that you see right here. So again, we wanted to stop here to give some historical references to the fact that our ancestors understood their beginning and understood the beginning of Happy in the Great Lakes region. It became from the beginning of the Nile where God Happy toward the Kafur or the mountain of the moon. That's why they honored the little swamp. This is called Beth in Egypt. And we saw the documentary when I was dancing with the Batwa in Ghana and honoring those sacred middle brothers and sisters who our ancestors saw that they were humanity migrated out all over the planet Earth. So at this point, you can take a picture of the Nile here.
He looked like a
4,000 years of looking at it. In the world's first language that we see right here. We see that this at the top. You know what that is now, right? And what is it? No, I'm not talking to you. Come on, Timmy, no.
Wait, I didn't hear what you
said. Name of upper and lower E. E represents what? The intelligent life of animals. The Z represents the intelligent life of what? Nature.
Yep.
Everything is living.
Yep.
Everything is alive.
Yep.
That's why they have this intelligent life of animals, intelligent life of let's do the king of upper and lower. And to it, making him what? Making him what? Making him upper and lower? Called what? Mary and Diane. Collectively it's called what? All right, give yourselves a big hand for answering all those questions. It's a very important part because the heart of this was the heart that got something. We're going to move around there. We're going to stop one more time before